the analysis style commentary that needs to be done. And as I say that, Brunswick will now let us know that we are live here from Watkins Glen, the first race of the Brunswick Racing League Chase here on BRL Live. And we've got a lot to unpack here in today's race. Me and I think it'll just be me up here in the booth. I thought maybe 34 or Chris would be here, but 34's got paper mate, and Chris is, in the race. He probably in a position he would want to run this race, considering the fact that he's going to be heading to the BRL Xfinity Series. He's the first driver out, actually, of the BRL. Missed it. But that is besides the point. He will be hitting the speedway. Rolling off fourth from Watkins Glen is that Chris Machine. Starting up on the front row, it's Connor and Nook, right where they've been all season here in the Xfinity Series. Connor, actually the second seated driver coming into this race, but the top qualifier with the 1.20.196 qualifying lap, as now will hit the speedway and will run down the grid. It's Connor. It is Connor's second seed in the playoffs, starting on the pole position and getting ready to try for a auto bid to the next round with a win right here today. And starting behind him, yesterday's winner at Daytona, that 43 of Nook. And back there, second row, it'll be the 88 of Trey, the 5-seed driver in the playoffs, trying to chase down the regular season champion Nook, and the guy in second, Connor. That is our pole sitter, Connor, of course, but second in the chase seating. Trey trying to erase that deficit with a win here today. And further back is Chris, driving now the 87 after changing from the 27 in the middle of the season. Not a big change for him. He has been a couple of numbers. He was the 16 and the 27 and now the 87, but I think this may be a more permanent change. And starting behind him is that 49 of, I'm going to be honest, I do not know. I don't remember. This guy, I've seen him before. 34, you're right. How about that Trey Machine in P3? Does anybody know who the, I remember this guy. I've seen him race before. Oh, is this?
It says it on his name thing. It says Handle.
Does it actually say Handle? My fault. Yeah. I know Handle's account, but he has more than one account, which makes that kind of hard.
This is wrecking under caution.
I think they're actually trying to go green. I don't know what they're doing, actually.
They're going to the pit lane.
They're 3 wide, so yeah, I'm just going to assume they're green, honestly.
Yeah, Brunswick just said they're green, which I guess restart zone's back there.
The restart zone's at the choose cone is what it looked like to me. Trey going to fire off with the lead. He's going to go wide, almost hit the rumple strips, but he has already put a little bit of gap back to that. Already put a little bit of a gap back to that number 43 of Nook. And Trey, the 5 seed in the chase, picking up where his driver Larson left off earlier in the real race at Texas with the lead. But, man, look up the hill, 34, at what Connor and Nook were able to do to the deficit. Chopped it down already.
Yeah, they had one heck of an exit to that to those S's. Through the bus stop cleanly for the top 4 as you look back. The last 3 cars also somewhat cleanly through.
Somewhat clean. They missed it, but they were not able. They were not crashing. So I guess that's an improvement for them from the Cup race.
Lead as they go into turn number 6. Nook and Connor now side by side, making it 3 wide as Handle on the inside.
That was a heck of a pass around that outside is what it'll be, and now he gets in the wall, so the pass will not stick. Merging back into the 5th position is that 85, the 87 of Chris. But look at Connor and Nook, even though they're side by side, still keeping the pressure on Trey, not letting him go very far. He's going to get into the rumble strip again, and Connor's going to be the capitalizer right here. We've called him the comeback kid all season. Right now, looking more like the capitalizer. He just capitalized on Trey's mistake and Nook's as well to get right back into the 2nd spot, get into some clean air, and especially get that car and that number 43 off the back bumper of him. That's a key thing as well when you're racing on a track like Watkins, Glen. Keeping the car's rear bumper clean just as much as the front one.
Yeah, and going into the S's back there, I saw Chris and Handel get together. Chris almost went into the opening in the barrier. That could have ended horribly. Connor
so around goes Handel
insanely on the leader.
Handel around. At the back, we'll go down the back straightaway with Trey leading Connor still, heading to turn 6, and especially right after that, turn 7. I know Chris is going to have me banned for saying that, but Connor able to just arc the corner way better than Trey. Contact, heavy contact between Connor and Trey. Trey maybe a nose out ahead, but man, oh man, Connor is impatient with the pass. He was ready to make it there, and it wasn't going to stick.
Yeah, for sure. They go into turn 1, and Connor's going to let him have a little bit of an edge going into 1, but he's going to get the run, go to his outside as they enter the S's side by side going into the S's. And will Connor clear him here? It doesn't look like he will.
They touch.
Side by side.
And that 17 with a... He'll now get clear of the 88 of Trey, but I don't think Trey's the kind of guy to waver this one easy. That 88 is setting that pass up, and he's going to, you know, at this point, he's going to get ready to giddy up and probably hammer Connor's bumper when they head through the bus stop right here. Connor goes wide, into the bumps, into the air.
Oh,
Trey is there, but he gets pushes off the track.
Oh, that's detrimental to the 88's momentum, and Connor's just going to pull away. I think if that 88 can get back to him, there's definitely going to be some kind of retaliation.
Oh, there might be a little more than just a tiny hit. I think Trey's intention at this point, he wants to send that guy around because he's been at the bad end of Connor's moves this whole kind of run, and now already letting the shark back into the waters of Nook, getting back behind Trey. Huge hit to the wall by Trey, and Nook will now look to the inside of that number 88.
Nook now to the inside of the 8, going into turn 1. Is he going to be able to clear on exit? I believe he will, but...
No, he's going to back out, let Trey have it. Trey into the rumble strips. Big hits for Trey, and that will completely shoot his momentum.
Here comes Chris.
Yeah, Chris has been able to kind of hold it with Nook, and even now just makes a quick work of Trey up in a very unconventional passing zone. You know, usually they wait until the last 2 corners or wherever they try and make the pass. That is not where they do it, up the hill. 34. How many times have you ever made the pass up the hill?
Not that many times, honestly. It's kind of hard to outdo somebody at the exit of turn 1.
Oh, they hit!
Chris almost in the
barrier.
Wow,
almost into the barrier!
Chris barely misses the barriers. I could tell Trey is really frustrated with Connor. The way he's driving, he's trying to push it as hard as he can to get back up to him, and it's costing him time lap after lap. And as we get closer to the end of the race, this isn't a long race, but Trey he gets a 0.5. Trey is definitely frustrated. He wants to get back up there. He wants to.
34. I'm going to tell you something that you haven't mentioned the whole race. And it's gonna come into serious effect, is that these boys are gonna have to make a green flag pit stop. And I don't know how many of them really know it. And 34, I know is someone that, oh no, into the rumble strip and into the wall.
Chris in it as well.
That car went absolutely straight in the corner. But what I was talking about, you never know how the green flag stop might affect. Connor's gonna get a 0.5 from the lead. Did he do something that was cheating?
Prior incident, it seems, maybe with Trey, but
potentially. I think that's what it's going to be, is that incident with Trey. I want to say right now, green flag pit stops, that has caught drivers like you and I off guard before and has been the difference maker. Go back to the Sprint Cup race at Charlotte Roval. What happened there was literally you forgot that there was even a green flag pit stop, and guess what happened is lost you the race because you had to go backwards down pit road.
Yeah, I'm just kind of lost, just so lost
Chris around!
in my race. I mean, you could say the same
Into
thing
the
about
wall.
Lime Rock too.
Yeah, that one actually you won still, but costed you a lot of time. And Connor, you know, he's got to be very aware of that. And I think they can all hear me, so that'll change the way they're racing. Is there anybody that maybe hasn't merged yet that potentially would be able to try and save it? And look at the way Connor arced that car as he went over the bump. Did you see that? He went over a bump and it arced his car dead away from the wall and was able to stabilize him and make him not able to hit those rumple strips.
Yeah, and Connor has a almost 5-second lead.
And a lead as well in the tank.
Yeah, I'm really looking at people's fuels.
I mean, he's got enough fuel to where you could suspect him of merging, and I don't think he's actually merged. Oh, he's off the track! And that is the worst time ever to go wide. That is arguably the worst part of the track to be wide, because that track right there, it goes flat. You can't turn down. You're just kind of stuck trying to fight the car back down, and that track's almost sloped the other way as compared to the banking, so you're fighting banking to get back on track, and that just typically doesn't work. You end up losing loads of time, and Connor was able to actually fight that one and get back down there.
Yeah, I think that gap is going to be cut in half by the looks of it. Connor is not even half a straightaway ahead of Nook now, and yeah, 2.5, a little bit over 2.5 seconds.
Here comes the 40 out of pit road. I don't know if he just pitted or if he is merging. I know he said pit with the leaders, but maybe a short stop? I don't know. From the looks of it, the way he's racing, I think he's up to speed at this point. So, yeah, Connor's coming around to lap the 40, I'm going to assume.
Yeah, I think you're correct to assume that. Because he said Brunswick did say there were 3 cars that needed to pit with the leader, but he could have pitted off of just his own merit.
And yeah, Connor much cleaner through the bus stop this lap, but the damage was done to his gap last go around. He definitely allowed Nook, and yes, that is a lapped car now we're hearing. But that gap that Connor had, it still looks like it's coming down. I think Nook has been able to get into some cleaner air and has been able to hammer back down Connor into the grass right there. That's going to kind of mess with the way he arcs out of that corner, and the run's probably going to be a little bit lower than what it would have been, but man, he's able to make up for it through turn 7.
Yeah, and through turn 7 is one of those corners where if you know how to do it right, you can gain a lot of time. You can run through there really quickly, and that can make or break your lap or the gap that you have as the leader. Nook shaved down wide that lap.
Shaved a 10th. He needs to shave more than that because there's only 7 laps to go, and you know there's a lot of stuff to do in the next 7 laps for Nook. You got to manage green flag stops. You got to manage getting into pit road, getting out of pit road without contact, as well as making every corner exactly how you have to make it every lap consistently with no mistakes. You're not going to make a 2.5 second gap in 7 laps without really consistently powerful driving by that 43. And I mean, it's going to be tight if he can do it. But man, the pace on that 43 looks unmatched right now.
Yeah, 43 is quick right now. And I mean, he cut off maybe 5/10, half a second right here. He's definitely caught up a lot to Connor. And did Connor hit the inside wall, or am I seeing things?
I'm not sure. I've been watching Nook this lap, and he is just way more arc out of the corner. He's got that back end kicked out way more than Connor, and I must say, I think it may be more than half a second he cut out. It is. It's 7/10 right there. That's a big chunk. That's a, you know, if we just had a pie and it was Connor's entire lead, he would have not have just took a slice out of it. But man, he just lost a slice of it.
went to the roll strips. He just sold
And that
all
just
the
shot
time
his
game.
momentum, and he's got to go all the way up the hill.
Now, do you think that if these two catch up to each other and start battling, that Trey will have enough time to catch up?
I think even if they went side by side every lap the rest of the race, Trey wouldn't get there. Nook now got his pit light on. The problem with Trey is Trey hasn't generated laps that were faster than either the 43 or the 17 pretty much the whole race. You're watching what Trey's been able to do, and Trey is consistently losing every lap. By the time that Nook gets there, which isn't going to be probably until 2 to go, at least with that huge mistake he made over in turn 1, he's going to need Connor to do pretty much likewise if he wants this to even be a capability. But no, unless they spin each other out, I don't see a way where Trey or Handel or Chris is in this thing at all. But Nook pushing it down into pit road, and that's a
Trey's
key
gonna stay
time
out.
gainer.
Trey's going around.
Trey is going to stay out. Is there a strategic advantage for the 88? Maybe to get an extra lap, stay out of the traffic. There's no one on his bumper for pretty much a whole lap, but there was no one around him anyway, so...
Looks like Connor and Nook were the only ones that actually pitted that time around. Everyone else seems to be going around one more.
I think Nook was really just trying to get on cycle with Connor, or Connor on cycle with Nook. I actually think that the 43 put his pit light on, and Connor reactionarily decided to come to pit road and decided that it was going to be his lap. I think that he was trying to stay on cycle with Nook, because if you're on the same cycle as somebody, then there's no excuse if you lose on pit road other than I didn't do my job correctly, because you're getting the same amount of gas. You're going to both be getting around the same amount of gas. You had a big gap. You know, if he comes in a lap earlier than you, then you can always say, well, he had clean track and all that. But man, oh man, he just made another big mistake. And I think, man, it's going to take every bit of what pace he's got if that 43 wants to get anywhere near Connor and try and win this race.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing about these road course races, is that when you pit off cycle someone, there's so much time in that one lap to gain or lose time. And that could, again, make or break your race.
Being the leader, you have so much more capability to lose time than you do to gain it, because you're not getting a fresh set of tires. All you're doing is running around the track, and then boom, you know, you're running around the track, and what is happening up at the front? We got multiple cars around in front of your lead. Chris, Optimus, get into Connor, and Nook is going to see every bit of right in front of him, and I think that is going to be a huge shot to the momentum of Connor. Nook is going to get right to him. Chris, I think a lap down from this.
Optimus gets a drive-through.
Optimus gets a drive-through, and Chris's strategy completely shot. Nook now is right back where he wants to be on Connor. He's kind of been the guy just watching and learning from Connor the whole race, but now he's actually got a chance to pounce and try and take this win. He's got to stay on him, though. Right now, he's let Connor kind of drive off it. Chris, into Optimus. Look at Nook just putting the pressure on Connor. And, you know, there's two kinds of guys in these high-pressure situations. There's the ones where diamonds are made under pressure, and the ones where J.R. Hildebrands are made under pressure. And right now, you're seeing the difference. Nook has got the pressure on him, and he has made a couple of mistakes. Connor has been perfect under pressure, but I say that as he goes wide. His momentum shot. Nook's going to get to the inside. He'll go to the lead through the hill.
They say you're going to have to commentate these last few laps on your own.
All right. Nook and Connor, bumper to bumper. The pace has been in favor of Nook. The track position and Connor. The mistakes have plagued them both. And now, one for Nook is going to open the door up for Connor. He goes through on the bottom and opens up the gap, coming to 2 to go. That is not the moment you want for Nook. You've got to get back on the throttle and get back to the bumper, that 17. You see guys like Handel really just not anticipating, but they need a caution. They know what's at stake. If they don't have it, their race going to be virtually over. Connor, bad exit. Goes wide as well. Nook's going to close big time off of that because Connor's momentum just absolutely shot. 2 laps to go for the 17 of Connor, trying to win this race and close the door to the worries that were coming from his position in the playoffs. Second was good enough, but a win would put him in a much better position. Nook, the regular season champion, trying to prove why he earned that title. And a runner-up for him in the standings last season is what he has to grapple with. He knows that guy Connor could take it from him if he doesn't go up there and do it right back. And the 43 just stays on him. Connor up, Nook down, contact, they go sideways. Nook's going to get to that outside. That is not the preferred lane. I actually think Connor will be able to single this back out. But no, he gets into that inside wall. He'll allow Nook to try for the crossover on the outside. Gives him the shot across the nose. Back to 1 to go. The battle of the ages here at Watkins Glen. It's going to come down to the last lap. 1 to go, presented by Credit One Bank. Nook and Connor racing for this win. They're going to both need for something big to happen to the other. Nook into the rumple strips. Connor opens it up on the bottom. Side by side, up the hill. The 43 is in a bad spot, but he turns this into a good position when they go to this part of the track. He's able to get clear of Connor, and Connor goes wide. His momentum going to have to be back down. Nook not trying to play bridesmaid to Connor again this season. He was heartbroken after playing second place to Connor in the Phoenix Championship last year. Connor is not willing to dismiss this battle yet, and it might be shades of SVG and Busher through the stop. The 17 to the inside. He opens the door, and there's contact. Will Nook give the shot back into the rumple strips? He's got the preferred lane here. He won't have it in turn 7. Connor's going to back it down and get to the bumper. 2 corners to make it happen. Into the wall goes Connor. Into turn 7. Connor and Nook. Not a car length. Not a nose ahead, but Connor will hit the wall. The mistake was too much to overcome, and Nook is going to do it. He wins at the Glen.
Wow.
It literally looked like Busher and SVG on that last lap. Right, all over again, and I thought it was going to go to Connor. I thought drive through in turn 6, and I think he overestimated that grip on the outside lane and trusted too much in it. Now, I can't conduct any interviews. I got to go downstairs, I think, handle clothes and things of the nature, so that's where I'm going to wrap up. If I think that's all I got for you at this point, so I will see you guys, I think, either next weekend. I think it'll be next weekend for the Cup Series Championship. That'll be on Saturday, May 9th. That race, Saturday, May 9th, p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central, a.k.a. Chris time. And Truck Series season will start on Sunday, May the 10th. We'll get back going in the Craftsman Truck Series, the Fresh from Florida 75 from Daytona, with a reset field and the champion of Nook coming back and trying to defend his title, with Nico trying to defend his Daytona win from last season.
Probably.